had around $30,000 in student loan. I was making regular payments, but after a few months, the balance barely moved. Do you know why? Because most of what I was paying was going towards the interest. So I changed my strategy, and that one shift helped me pay it off way faster. Watch this video till the end so you can be debt-free much faster. Before we get into how to escape this mortgage and debt trap, let's talk about what it is and why you fell into it in the first place. Because if you don't know how you got stuck, you're gonna probably end up here again. According to government data analyzed by homebuyers.com, 89% of the Americans chose 30-year mortgage. Why? Because it feels affordable. Because lenders and builders advertise own a home for just $999 per month, drive a new car for $199 per month, buy now and pay later. This is how they get rich off your patience. You stretch your loan and they stretch your interest. Let's take an example. If you take a $400,000 mortgage at a 6.5% interest rate for 30 years, you will end up paying $510,000 just in the interest. That's more than the actual mortgage. Now take the same mortgage for 15 years, your interest will drop to $227,000. You just saved $283,000. This happens because in the early years, most of your payment goes towards the interest, not towards the actual loan. And if you have the capacity to pay this mortgage off in just 10 years, you will be able to save $365,000 just in the interest payment. Of course, the monthly payment would be much higher. As of the first quarter of 2025, 65.1% of the US households own their homes. Among homeowners, 61.2% have mortgage on their property. And in 2024 alone, 80% of the home buyers took a loan to buy their houses. That's not a stat, that's a mindset. And debt is default. In the US, nobody even questions it. 30-year mortgage, that's normal. Paying 3x the home's price in a long run, that's also normal. But unfortunately, here is what they don't teach you. Average mortgage is $381,920. Most homeowners stay in their house for 8 to 13 years, but take 30-year mortgages. In the first few years, most of that money doesn't even go towards the house. It goes to the bank, towards the interest. You are pretty much paying rent to your lender. Think about it. Finally, let's talk about how to get out of this trap. Look, if you are about to go to a war against a powerful enemy, you got to know everything about them. You need to know who the strongest among them is, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, everything. So create a list of all your enemies. I mean, debts. Write down the debt amount, the balance left, the monthly payments, the interest rate, and the time left to pay it off. Now that you know exactly what you owe, let's see how that stacks up against what you earn every month. Now add up your monthly debt payments. In our example, that comes down to $2,232. And now divide that by your monthly income. Say your monthly income is $5,000. $2,232 divided by 5,000, that comes to around 44%. And that number is called debt to income ratio, also DTI for short. A healthy DTI is usually 35% or less. That means your debt payment shouldn't take more than a third of what you earn. Lenders want to see your DTI below 30% if you want the best loan deals. But realistically, some lenders will go up to 43% or even 45%. And if your DTI is above 50%, that's a red flag and you are considered high risk, and borrowing will be tougher and you will get worse rates. Definitely keep an eye on this number. That is your financial health meter. Now it's time to pick your battle plan. Do you want to knock out the smallest debt first or hit the big one, the expensive one, head on? From our example, let's say you have these following debts: car loan, 2 debts with crazy high interest rate, a personal loan, and a mortgage that is hanging around for 20 years. Now, when it comes to paying off debt, there are 2 big methods. The first is debt snowball and the second is debt avalanche method. Now let's talk about debt snowball method. This is where you pay off your debt from smallest to the largest balance, no matter the interest rate. Why? Because it gives you quick wins and keep you motivated. From our chart below, this is the order you will target. You make minimum payments on everything, but you attack debt number 2 with every extra dollar until it is gone. Once that is done, then you roll up that freed up payment into the next debt. It's like a snowball. Start small, but gets bigger and faster as it rolls. And once that one is done, you attack the next one. And next is the debt avalanche method, also known as the math nerd way. This one says pay off the debt with the highest interest rate first, because the math says it saves you a lot of money on the interest in the long run. And if you follow that, this will be your avalanche order. You'll be paying the debt 1, which is 23% interest rate first. Then you'll attack number 2, which is debt 2, 22%. Then you'll go with the personal loan, car loan, and of course, at the end, the mortgage. In this method, you still make minimum payments everywhere, but you throw every dollar at the debt 1 first, because that's costing you the most. So you'll ask, which one works? For me, snowball wins. It gives more momentum and keeps regular folks fired up, and going. On the other hand, Avalanche saves a lot of money but can feel slow if that first debt is a beast. My advice will be always go the Snowball way, because beating debt is more about behavior than math. People don't quit because they can't calculate. They quit because it feels hopeless. Forget about the mortgage for now. That's a long-term marathon. Attack the smallest debt first. Once that is crushed, roll that $102 payment into personal loan, then debt 1, and then the car. By the time you hit the big stuff, your payment snowball will be huge. That's when you finally crush your debt for good. Usually your monthly payments are swallowing half of your paycheck and you're still not seeing progress, so it's time to regroup. Debt consolidation might actually be the move. Instead of paying 5 different lenders with 5 different interest rates and fees, you roll up all your debts except the mortgage into one single payment at low rates. Especially if some of your debts are hitting you with 20 to 23% interest rates. That's not just expensive, that's bleeding money. If you can find a solid loan around 7 to 10% and use that to wipe out the high interest stuff, that's a huge win. Step 1. Find a good consolidation loan. Step 2. Use the new loan to pay off all the smaller debts. And step 3. Tag the new consolidated loan aggressively. But here's the part a lot of people miss. Consolidation doesn't fix anything if your spending habit stays the same. It is a tool, not a cure. So if you go down that route, you got to treat it like a reset. Don't reopen the dead doors behind you. If you use the right way, consolidation gives you space to breathe, to plan, and to actually make progress. And exactly that's what we are after. Most of us don't actually know where half of our money goes. It just disappears. But if you sit down even 1 hour and do this audit properly, you'll start seeing the leaks. And once you fix those, you can end up saving thousands of dollars without feeling you're sacrificing much. Here is how we do it. First, cancel the stuff you're not even using. Start with the easy wins. Are you really watching the Netflix, Disney, Apple TV, everything? If not, pick your favorite and cancel the rest. Got a fancy credit card with a fat annual fees but you rarely use the perks? It is time to downgrade it. Check your email for receipts. Look at your bank statements. You'll be shocked at how many apps or auto renewals or gym memberships or the random tech tools or forgotten trials are quietly draining your wallet. Here is a rule I use. If it is not making me money, saving me money, or actively making my life easier, it's gone. And finally, stop blowing your windfalls. This is the game changer. You get a bonus or a tax refund, don't celebrate by spending it all. Take 70% and throw it straight at your debt. Take the other 30% and put it in the savings or investments. The reason is simple, because random bonuses come and go, but using them wisely builds the kind of freedom your future self will thank you for. Let's quickly touch up on the mortgage paying strategy. Here is exactly what I did to pay off my home early. Nothing too complicated, just consistent habit that worked. First, increase your mortgage payment a little every year, just 10% more than the year before. If you're paying $1,500 a month, bump it up to $1,650 next year. Make sure that extra amount goes towards the principal, not interest. It doesn't feel like much at the moment, but over time it makes a huge difference. Make one extra payment every year. The easiest way is to split your monthly payment in half and pay that amount every 2 weeks. You'll end up making 13 payments a year instead of 12, and that extra payment directly cuts down your mortgage balance. And let me tell you this secret, if you do both, the yearly increase and the extra payment, you will crush your mortgage in just 10 or 12 years instead of 20 or 30 years. That's what exactly I did. I wasn't earning crazy money, I just stayed consistent and made the loan a priority. If you want your home to be fully yours way sooner, this is one of the simplest way to make this happen. Before you go, I'm your finance friend Sushant. I talk about everything personal finance in a way that actually makes sense. And definitely tag along if you want more real and useful money talks. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe and click on this interesting video which I released last week. Your finance friend Sushant, signing off.